Hey, this is going to be an exciting day, Luke. Hey, thanks for opening up the windows here on the Easy
Yeah,
Breeze
doesn't
porch.
it feel better in here?
Fresh air,
Yeah,
nothing
oh,
like
yeah.
fresh air. Hey, today's kind of a complicated show. It's kind of an interesting show to me, all about this unique home. I think the most unique home ever built in the Midwest for sure.
Yeah, I would agree with you. Yeah, we want to show people what's behind the walls, what's underground that they can't see that really makes up the bones of this house.
complicated.
Yeah, it is complicated.
What a recipe.
Yeah, but we got some displays. I think we can really show them,
So-
what this house is made of.
Okay, so we're going to get into that recipe and kind of what in the world was that?
You missed a spot.
You better get this
Come on.
clean. This is important here.
Come on.
Over there. Come on.
Boy, you don't do this much at home,
This
do
is
you?
like really special here.
No.
Well, there's our golfer, Joe. What were you thinking?
I wasn't thinking, I was just practicing.
I can understand the
I put the
practice.
Easy Breeze windows down.
Oh,
You almost killed us. I believe this belongs to you, sir.
I'll take that. Thank you very much. Sorry, guys.
Hey, welcome to Between the Studs. I'm Lonnie Norris. This is the Granite Ridge team and Tony Ranke, our president. We're glad you've joined us today. Between the Studs is all about new homes, construction processes, features, trends, furniture, things that make up today's new home. And we're out here at the Next Step Home. Got an exciting show planned. Tony, tell us a little bit about today's show.
You know what? We've got the show called Between the Studs, and we've been centering our program this season from the Next Step House. Now, a lot of people have been asking, what does Next Step stand for? So I thought I might explain that first. STEP is smart, technology, energy, performance. So STEP. Anyways, what we'd like to do is we've got a lot of questions about how and why this house is so tight. So you and Luke, Lonnie, why don't you guys go talk a little bit about the structure?
The secret recipe?
Envelope.
Okay.
And this is going to be a hard one, so try to figure out a good way. As long as Joe's not golfing, I think the displays are still
We'll be
okay.
safe. Okay, we'll do
Now,
it.
Joe and I are going to go ahead and we're going to talk a little bit about the windows. We've got triple glazed windows here, Joe.
True.
So this is going to be a little complicated for people to understand. And I think there's something called, besides argon in it, it's called,
Krypton.
that'll be fun for you to see that segment too. So let's get our segments ready. We'll see
All
you in a
right.
bit.
Here we go.
Okay, now the guys have finally finished this and it's clean and streak free. Let's talk a little bit about the railing and the glass application.
Sounds good. When we were designing this home, we wanted to make sure we kept with the modern theme, so we thought it'd be great to show a glass stairway application.
This is beautiful. Can you tell me a little bit about this glass?
I can. The glass is tempered, so it's a very strong glass.
So it's kind of like a windshield. Those are tempered.
Exactly. So it's not going to shard if it would ever break. It'd be very hard to, but if it would, it's going to be a lot safer.
And this is a custom application, so it's something that was done locally here, so you could get any size to
Exactly.
meet your requirements. Now the newel post, this is very modern and unique. I like how you incorporated the stainless steel in here.
Yeah, the newel post you can have a lot of fun with. You can do something a little bit larger. You can do round ones. We wanted to do a little inlay, again, a custom piece, but it's a place you can really dress up your stairs.
Now, what are some other neat things that we don't see very often when it comes to spindles or what you can do with the stairs?
One of my favorite things is maybe cords. That's become really popular. So you have big cables for your stairs. There's, if you have a lake home or cottages, you could have tree-like spindles, wrought irons, very popular, and just the traditional wood spindle as well.
Those are all great ideas. And I know from a safety standpoint, for you and I, we both have small children. And the great thing about a new home is all of the codes. So we don't have to worry about, you know, arms or legs or anything, you know, being stuck in between the spindles too.
Exactly, and that's something the designer will work with the contractors about for your new home. Nothing anybody has to worry about anymore, and we'll make sure everything is up to date.
Great, just more ideas to think about.
All right, Izzy, we're sitting out here at the Next Step House in this gorgeous porch. We at Granite Ridge are getting a lot of phone calls from people that want to bring the outside in by doing a covered porch or a covered patio. And we can do those in a range of, well, probably $4,000 to $5,000. And there's many different ways you can do this. Can you tell us a couple different ways and windows we can use?
Absolutely. There's lots of different ways to transition from that exterior to interior living. One of them would be a screened-in porch, which allows the full feel of nature. We've got the glassed-in, you can have a 3 seasons room type place that you can go and you have your traditional windows. And this is another product that we're using right now a lot is the vinyl window, which is the Easy Breeze window. Now again, you play some golf. Have you ever broken a window?
Oh, not even close.
No, I did during our golf tournament, but this is a vinyl window product. It's very durable. You can actually, again, it's a no-brainer if you live on a golf course. But with this, it gives that in-between of a screen porch and a glassed-in porch area. With this, you can actually allow for a little air inside the room. You can let the air circulate by letting air come in from the top side, or if it's a beautiful day, you can actually open it all the way up. So there's every way in between there that you can use these windows. So it's a very versatile window and also allows for some protection. Again, it's not a very easily broken window. Just a really nice product.
It looks pretty easy to use, Izzy, and I'm glad you closed it because it's pretty cold out here today.
It is a little breezy.
Granite Ridge Builders has hundreds of floor plans to choose from, all of which you can custom design to accommodate your personal needs. But what if you have your own plan or ideas? That's okay. Our 3 professional on-site draftsmen are ready to take your ideas and turn them into a reality. Just give us a call or shoot us an email. We look forward to meeting with you to custom design your next dream home.
Okay, Joe and Luke, we're responsible for talking a little bit more about the building envelope. Well, one of the biggest components we need to talk about would be windows. First question is, do you guys know where the word window came from?
I don't.
I have no idea.
It's interesting. Back in the 1400s, they used to have holes in their walls, and in the Chinese days, they used to call them wind holes. That was where all the wind would go through. That's how the windows, yeah. All right, Joe, we usually use Andersen windows, and we've switched today to JELD-WEN, so we have two good products to talk about.
Sure.
Let's talk about our Andersen window that we normally put in. We've been using for about 20 years. This window has been a very, very good window. Now, I also heard this has something to do with titanium dioxide. What's that?
True. Not to be confused with the titanium that's in my golf driver, Tony.
Okay.
What Andersen does is they put a coating of titanium dioxide on that outside pane of glass. What happens is if you look at glass under a microscope, it really isn't very smooth. It's pretty lunar looking. So that's why water has a tendency to trickle down and leave streaks and spots behind. That titanium dioxide that Andersen puts on there actually smoothens off that glass. So when it does rain or you hose it off, there's a sheeting action of that water, which has a tendency to take a lot of dirt with it, leave a lot fewer streaks and spots behind. Not a never clean window, but one you'll know you're cleaning a lot less
I like
often.
that better because you and I both clean windows for the wives.
True.
Good move. Okay, now inside this, so we got 2 panes of glass.
True.
This is hermetically sealed, meaning completely sealed. Inside this, I heard there's something besides just oxygen inside my window pane.
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, they actually expel the oxygen and replace it with argon gas.
Okay.
Argon gas is an inert gas, heavier than air, and acts as an insulator. And as another form of insulation, what Andersen does to the inside of the window, they put a coating of low E film inside the window. Low E film wants to reflect heat back from the side he is coming from. For example, in the summertime, Mother Nature's beaming the sun down on that window. That low E film kicks it back outside, and that's how we help families reduce their cooling bills. In the wintertime, the furnace is blowing heat at that window, hits that film, reflects that heat back inside your home, and that's how we help reduce the heating bills during winter.
I heard that also helps not fading carpeting and sofas and things like that. Is that true?
You're exactly right.
Okay, now you're so smart, I think you even know the percentage of how much more efficient this is. What's that?
Yeah, I am that smart, Tony. It's 37 to 41% more efficient than what traditional windows are.
That's actually a lot. Now, Luke, you were responsible for building this Next Step house. You decided to take that one step further and even do a more efficient window. Tell us what the JELD-WEN has to offer.
Yeah, so this is our JELD-WEN window here, and this is the Andersen window that we typically use. You can see the Andersen window has 2 panes of glass. It's got 1 gap. The JELD-WEN window has 3 panes of glass, but it's got 2 gaps. So like Joe mentioned before, between pane 1 and 2, there's argon gas. But then between pane 2 and 3, there's krypton gas.
What is that?
It's a heavier gas than argon, so it takes it a step further and provides more insulation value to this window. So our Andersen windows are right around an R3, and our Geldwin windows are about an R5. So with the extra pane with that krypton gas, bumps it about an extra R2. Obviously, Lonnie and I talked about the segment earlier about how much R value we had on our windows, or our walls. The windows are definitely the weak point in the wall system.
True, so any help there at the windows just helps out the whole envelope of the home.
Right, correct, exactly. So this is where you get a lot of your heat loss and cool, the cool windows coming in. That's why you always see the registers on the floor right by the windows to buffer that coolness from coming in. Another big difference that you can see is the Geldwin windows are actually vinyl, but they're hollow inside. The Andersen are vinyl cladded, but you got wood inside. So it gives you the strength of the wood, but it will not rot because that vinyl is extruded in one piece of vinyl. So there's no way that water can get to that wood.
Wow, we all have had windows, we've fought that rot on the bottom.
Yep, absolutely, absolutely. So
Well, before we end this segment on windows, what I thought we'd do is, Joe, let's explain some basics. That would be this. What window type between casement and double hung, you've been doing this for about 20 years, what would you say the most popular is today, casement or double hungs?
Well, I'm going to give you depends on that, Tony. If you went back in time a little bit, the double hung window was more popular. You went back in time a little bit, that casement window was more popular. But uniformity is not necessarily conformity. Sometimes we'll put casement windows on the home, but sometimes when people have that front porch and the railing out there and they're going to put a few chairs out there, yep, so we'll go to a double hung window there. But then again, sometimes the style of the home dictates the type of window. For example, on a Craftsman home, you might want to consider the double hung window.
Good point. I thought this was very helpful. And if anybody would like to have a little better explanation about what window goes best and also how efficient they are, you can always call Granite Ridge anytime.
Thank you.
Now, Kayla, when you're building a new home, one of the big decisions when it comes to selections is what kind of style are you going to go for in your home. This home here at the Next Step Home is very simplistic and contemporary. Can you explain what you've done with the trim work and the interior doors?
Definitely. We wanted to get this house to be a little bit more on the modern trend set because that is where things are going now. So we decided to do very simple trim, just very straight, plain base and case, and we did very simple doors, just a one-panel door as you can see over there. Now what really changes the look of it is the door is a dark color, which is really popular right now.
That is unique. I've even seen people do black doors and painted trim. Now, when it comes to what's more popular, we get asked a lot, should I do stain trim or painted trim? What do you typically see?
Painted trim is definitely more popular, but stain trim is very classic for the right buyer. But I would say right now, 90% of the homes that we build have painted trim.
And that gives you more flexibility with your room colors because you can choose a bold color and it will go with the trim just fine.
Exactly. Another thing to consider is the type of wood that you're going to be using for your base and case and doors as well. There's poplar, pine, pre-primed. It all makes the stain look a little bit different, and so make sure that you pay attention to what kind you prefer.
We've even seen some homeowners do walnut, which is very costly.
It is, but it's gorgeous.
Now, Kayla, a lot of people can't decide. Maybe one person likes painted, one likes stained. They can't decide. Is it okay to do a little of both in your home?
Definitely. We actually did that in this year's parade home. The foyer and entry was painted, and then we stained the great room, kitchen, and nook, and it's wonderful. It just depends on how your style is and how you can blend both of them together, but it works beautifully.
We've even seen some homeowners do a stained door with painted woodwork, and that's great too.
It is. You have so many different variations, and that's what the decorators at Granite Ridge are there to help you with and how to pull it all together.
Now, Kayla, in this home, there is a really unique door. Can you describe what it is and where it is?
There is. It's actually right behind us. It's called a jib door. So the jib door is a really awesome door. You can also consider it a hidden door. You see these a lot in movies where people would sneak through different rooms and you didn't know where they were. And it's really cool for this kind of application, something unique that people probably haven't seen for a while.
Well, this is great because you may have a room with a lot of doorways. So this helped make this doorway more usable because it's storage. And it's also a good idea, here we have a half bath, but you could have maybe a safe, maybe you have a gun safe, something you don't want people to know is back there. So that would be a great application.
It is. I've also seen stairways going up to bonus rooms. It can be a really awesome secluded place that not everybody necessarily knows where it's at.
Well, what a great idea.
Hi, I'm Jake Whitaker with Granite Ridge Builders, and I'm here today to talk to you about a brand new community called Saddle Creek Estates. Saddle Creek Estates is located in Grable, Indiana, and it's in the Leo School District, and the streets are actually in for Section 1 right now, so please come out and see us. Now, there's been a little bit of confusion when people are driving out there. There is an existing house that was originally there, and I'm kind of working out of that right now. I'm out there every Sunday from 1 to 4, or give me a call and I'll meet you out there anytime. Did I mention it was Leo Schools?
Well, Luke, we've been talking about the Next Step Home and how it's unusual and exceptional in a lot of ways. And as I understand it, it really begins below ground.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Foundation.
When we were starting to even begin to think about this house, we really wanted to start with the footer and work our way up and make sure that we didn't leave any stone unturned by making this house the most energy efficient house out there.
Possibly could be. So here we are. This is a schematic, kind of breaks things down for us. Begin here with the footer.
Yeah,
Explain it to
so
us.
we have 3 different pours here. So we got our footer, then this
Okay.
is our basement wall, and then this is our basement slab. So in all of our basement concrete work, we actually put Concure admixture in the mix from the plant.
Okay. And what's the purpose of Concure?
So Concure is, think of it like a through body sealer. Concrete itself is very porous. There's little capillaries that water can actually run through and can actually go from, you know, one end of the wall to the inside of the wall, which we don't want to happen.
Right.
So Concure actually seals up all those little holes and capillaries and makes it so that water cannot go from either groundwater or condensation cannot go through this concrete. So it makes it non-porous.
Okay, now I've looked at some basement walls before and actually have seen moisture or evidence of moisture or even beads of moisture. So you're saying we figured out a way to stop that from happening.
Right, well, we actually did 2 things to stop that from happening. Some of that could just be that the water's running through the capillaries, okay? You've seen people spray the black tar on the outside of the
Yes,
walls. That's one way to do it. We did that and the Concure in this house. The basement is one of the most susceptible places that have moisture come into the house. About 15 to 18 gallons is what you can expect to come from either groundwater or through the basement walls on an average day. That's more than triple what it takes for, or what the family will produce in breathing and showers and cooking. So,
And I know in our Indiana clay, we're
Oh, yeah.
capturing a lot of water.
yeah. So the Concure stops it from traveling through the wall, and then we put this foam board on the outside of the wall.
That's very unusual. I've never seen that before, except for out here.
So this goes right on the concrete footer all the way up,
Sets on the
technically
footer
to
all
the roof. It goes all the way to the roof. We continued it all the way to the roof.
First floor as well. Okay.
Yep.
How thick is it and what is it?
So it's under the slab, it's 2.18 inches thick. So it's about an R11 by itself.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So that gives us a complete thermal break. So you mentioned you've seen, you know, concrete walls on the inside have that. It looks like there's evidence of water.
Right.
Well, some of that may just be pure condensation, like what you see on windows. Sometimes when
Okay.
it's really cold
Okay.
outside,
Okay.
you hit the warm air hits that cold
Right.
wall and condensates. Well, this keeps that wall warm and really eliminates that condensation happening from the inside of the wall.
So our thermal break literally begins on the footer all the way up to the roof.
Right,
of
and
this
yep,
house.
and then we bridge the gap here,
Okay.
and right here, there's actually another 3/8 inch insulation that we put here. So it goes down to the footer on the outside,
Okay.
and then we pick right back up with that thermal break on the inside.
This being the basement floor then,
Yeah,
right?
this is the
Okay.
basement floor.
Okay, wow.
So now, down 9 feet in the ground, it stays about 55 degrees temperature-wise,
Okay,
ground.
okay.
So it's not a huge change.
But it helps,
But
sure.
it does help. That's why we stepped it down to 3/8. But putting that right there, and then this continues all the way to the other footer,
Okay.
where it picks right back up with
Wow.
the R11 on the outside. So for our basement is completely wrapped with a thermal break.
Okay, and what are these down here? We might as well catch the
Yeah,
tiles.
absolutely. So these are our drainage tile that
Okay.
runs all the way around the perimeter of the basement wall,
The
inside
outside
and
and
outside.
inside, okay.
Yep, inside and outside, and then they all run back to our sump pit.
They're tied together?
They're tied together periodically,
Okay.
and any of that water that, when we dig a basement, we have about 3 foot of overcut. When it rains, and then with the roof, the downspouts, all that is coming, a lot of water right there around our foundation.
Okay.
That water will run down that wall, it'll find that tile, it'll go to your sump pit, pump out, discharge to a swale or a pond in the backyard.
It's probably another reason why we want to be careful with our downspouts and splice box to get that water away from the home.
Yeah, we would recommend everybody to at least tile out, especially if you're on a basement, tile out about 10 feet or so. Just get that water away from where that overcut is and away from your foundation walls. Just one more step just to protect, if anything were to ever happen.
And then, so this is our basement wall, 8 inches or 10 inches, I understand it typically, as far as width?
8
Okay.
inches, yep.
And then what is this blue material? You can see it over here on the side.
Yeah, so anywhere where the wood meets concrete. You know, we try to level concrete out as much as we can,
okay.
but there is some dips. We
Can.
put a seal sealer in there,
Okay.
and then we tighten down the bolts, which really compacts that seal sealer
see. Okay.
and gives us a nice seal. That way it stops from potentially bugs or water or air infiltration, so
Okay.
it serves multiple purposes.
So that's part of the Granite Ridge way of doing things. I know we do a blackjack bead
Yeah.
as well.
Yep.
right?
So what this display doesn't show is on the outside and inside we do a bead of blackjack
blackjack.
or some sort of sealer. Just again,
Kind of a triple seal
exactly yep.
approach. That's really interesting. I think we're going to move from the basement, the foundation, on up through the walls.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. First, we're going to send it to Kayla and Elizabeth.
Okay.
When we come back, we're going to be talking. So this was all below grade. Then we're going to be talking about everything above grade.
Great.
Elizabeth, this is one of the most used areas in the home, the garage entry. And one of my favorite features in a garage entry is lockers. Can you tell us about some of your favorite features?
Well, this is really popular. One of my favorite things about these lockers in particular are they're a little deeper. So you actually can sit here and put your shoes on or do whatever you need to do before you get out the door. Another neat thing is they actually do have some doors. So, you know, we hear sometimes people don't like lockers because they look cluttery because you're throwing everything, but they do have some doors here. There's also cubbies so you can have baskets, but a great place to hang your coat. And I know you did one really special thing on the front of these lockers.
We did do a really unique thing with these doors. We actually put a clear, dry erase paint on it. So instead of a plain door, you can actually write messages and write your grocery list, your kids' chores for the day, but you hardly see it. So when guests come over, if you don't want all those messages and messy chalkboard to be shown, you can erase it all and it looks just like a normal door.
What an awesome idea. Now, lockers, what do they typically run? What would somebody expect to spend on putting something in their home?
Depending on how intricate you get with it, I would say probably $900 to probably up to $2,000 depending on how custom you make it.
And that's not too bad because when you look at furniture pieces that are lockers, you're looking at something like that.
So Luke, we've talked about foundations and basement assembly. Let's talk about from the basement up, the walls and ceilings and so on.
Yeah, I mentioned before that we had this rigid insulation going from the basement footer all the way up to the roof eave.
right.
So actually when we got above grade, we jumped it up to an actual 2.5 inch thick.
That's heavy stuff.
Yeah, it's heavy. It's really durable.
These walls aren't going anywhere.
No,
are they?
absolutely
Okay,
not.
yeah.
And this by itself is an R14.
That's amazing. Most walls are about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Most
Yeah.
2x4 construction walls are going to be about an R15
Yeah, that's amazing.
at most.
Right, okay.
But now the thing with that is your stud space. Your studs themselves take up 25% of a wall.
Okay.
A stud, the R value is very, very low.
So what you're saying is this becomes the envelope.
Right.
So we've got insulation on the outside of the studs, which typically you don't have on a conventional house.
Yeah,
'cause the
exactly.
studs and the wood
And like
you
on
use.
a nice frosty morning, you can actually drive by and see
I've
where
seen
every
that.
stud is because that heat is burning that
Okay.
frost off. That's why you can see it. On this house, you won't be able to see that because we have that complete thermal break around this entire house.
And speaking of between the studs, what is between the studs
Yeah.
in this particular house?
So in this house, we got the R14 rigid insulation on
Okay.
the outside. Then between the studs, we filled it with a closed cell polyurethane.
Wow,
So
okay.
there's closed cell and there's open cell. We went with the closed cell,
Okay.
which actually encapsulates the gas as it expands.
Okay.
So this will not absorb any moisture, and it's a complete air air blockage.
So 3.5 inches roughly.
3.5 inches. Yep.
Our value of that would be
About an R19. So
wow.
yeah.
So you put those two together.
Yeah, we're about an R36 when you add everything
In
up
the wall?
together in the wall. Yeah,
That's
So-
amazing. And you know what amazes me is, you know, we wanted to make this house as efficient as we possibly could, and we stayed with the 2x4 wall versus 2x6.
Right. Yep. We went with the 2x4 wall, but then when we added that 2.5 inches of insulation on the outside, it gave us a true 2x6 dimension.
Okay.
So we could use a standard 2x6 window jam extension in there.
Okay. What else would you tell us about this?
One thing, we used EcoSeal. So we got all this. Now this blocks any air infiltration, but there are some overlaps.
Okay,
And some
sure,
areas where
sure.
maybe that insulation, didn't quite get up against
Okay.
that stud. We then sprayed this EcoSeal at 4,000 PSI. So
Okay.
anywhere where we got 2x4 sandwiched together, we sprayed this in, and it will penetrate all the way that 3.5 inches to the outside, and it'll stop any air infiltration in its tracks. And that's what we're trying to do in this house.
Okay. And Luke, I know we can't talk about the entire assembly. The roof's another story, and there's a lot of insulation. How much insulation's in the attic, by the way?
Well, we have an R66 insulation in the attic.
So R38, I think, is maybe code.
Yep.
We're in the 45 range at Granite Ridge, but we're talking going way
R66.
beyond that.
And you really can't go much more than 66 because then the first few inches will start compressing and you'll lose some R factor.
People need to come out and see this house.
Yeah.
And by the way, we have a wall schematic. If people are interested in the specific recipe and the materials that we use and the size of materials and where they go, come on out and take a look at our wall schematic. We'd be glad to give you more information about this incredible house out on Flutter Road.
Granite Ridge Builders has hundreds of floor plans to choose from, all of which you can custom design to accommodate your personal needs. But what if you have your own plan or ideas? That's okay. Our 3 professional on-site draftsmen are ready to take your ideas and turn them into a reality. Just give us a call or shoot us an email. We look forward to meeting with you to custom design your next dream home.
Joe, I think it's time that we wrap up this show today. If we could find our colleagues.
Yeah, I'd like to know where everybody
I don't
is.
know where they're at, but,
Yeah,
but have we
exactly.
touched base or talked about everything?
We should probably talk a little bit about that road close sign, maybe.
Okay.
Where'd you guys come
How'd you
from?
guys get in here?
Anyway, that road close signs there, they can still
You're
get
right.
in. I
We're
think
on
we
Flutter
can talk about
Road,
that a
and,
little bit.
and we're out here on Sundays 1 to 4,
1 to
and
4,
people
yep.
can come out. And also, we use this show for special.
Holy cow!
I
Where'd
think
you
that's
guys come from?
I
We're
thought
getting
there was-
closer.
I don't know, but
Anyway.
yeah, we use the home for special activities. People can come out and bring their own office out.
I think they should know that. They
Schools can come out.
yeah, holy cow!
Well, I guess.
How'd you guys?
I guess we can close.
Let's
Thanks
wrap
for
it.
joining us today. It's been fun. If you have any questions about the show, visit us at the website or the phone number noted on the screen.
Yep. If you'd like to know a little bit more about who we are, what we do, and why we do what we do so well, just walk in our front door. We'd love to meet you, greet you, talk about it.
Come on out. Just don't play golf with this guy.
Oh!
So instead of your plain doors, you actually can dress it up a little bit, write messages to the family. You can have your grocery list on there. And hi.
Thanks a lot.
We were on a roll, man.
Had it nailed.
In here somewhere? Yeah. I don't think I'm really going to hit that ball. Why not that way? You think it will? I think I'd have a notion to hit it at that damn thing. Oh! Jeez, 4!